Thank you very much, Emilia, and thank you very much, Andrea, for your message and for giving us the opportunity to share this very important moment. I don't want to raise your deception, but I'm not going now to celebrate the important work that public service and mainly local government workers do every day, because I think that you recognized how important this role is. We are still trying in a Freudian way, try to elaborate this experience of confinement, this experience of a pandemic, and already preparing for the huge impact of the economic crisis that will follow the health crisis we are still in. And my point is actually looking at this part of the discourse. We have been also as trade union in the past 2 months as public service union much more focused on dealing with the protection, with the recognition of the fundamental rights of health workers in hospital and in health services, because they have been the most exposed. And this is demonstrated by the fact that we have about 12% of professionals that have been infected, and many died because of the infection. But as both you, Andrea, and you, Emilia, mentioned, there are so many sectors where public service workers have been on the front line. And I think that it was no fault of anyone, but we found all ourselves unprepared to deal with the protection of those workers, to deal with the protection of our communities, as the size of this pandemic was something unpredictable for all of us. I think that the post-COVID has to start from that point and to look how our communities, our alliance between workers and local government can help build a preparedness approach to our community, as all the scientists are advising us. We must be confronted next with the second wave of the pandemic, and nobody can exclude that some other kind of virus will break out at a certain point in history again. This is a lesson that we have to learn, and this is a lesson that has to do very much with the economic system we are we have been we got used to live in. We saw that the crisis, the scarcity of PPEs, is actually one demonstration of how weak is the system of the global value chain if it's not able to address the fundamental needs of a community when a pandemic such COVID happens. And it seems to me that the response of many governments and even local governments, where there's not been an effective coordination at a national level, responded trying to find manufacturing able to produce those equipment locally. This can be a way to support local business, local community, while helping stockpiling all the equipments that are needed and helping preparedness. I just want to mention that on this issue, but this is part also of the conversation that we had in preparation of this meeting, there is the opportunity to update and better use and adapt to all kind of local government workers the guidelines for first responders and emergency workers that the tripartite expert meeting of the ILO elaborated just 2 years ago. This is a good tool that we can use and that can help and support us to guide our work in the future. No discussion that the issue of decent working condition, occupational health and safety, and decent wages is fundamental for all these workers in public services or those providing public services. Emilia just raised the issue of outsourced workers. Well, I think that we can do a common work trying to ensure that occupational health and safety and decent working conditions are ensured to those workers as well, probably working together about conditions on public procurement and taking more responsibility as public administration and public government in guiding that process. I would like also not saying that that will solve any problem, but as everybody are now predicting a terrible economic crisis that will be much worse than the 2008 crisis, that will probably endure 2, 3, or who knows how many years. Ensuring decent wages and helping local business is a way to support the economic fabric of our communities and helping to reconstitute a solid economic development in the post-COVID reconstruction. Of course, it won't be enough. I want to sympathize with mayors, with local government, because what I saw around the world, that they have been exposed to the highest level of pressure from citizens, for the population, while being squeezed or neglected by national governments and not always completely be on board in the decision-making process under a public health threat as the one we faced. So I want to sympathize with your role, but this also is calling on the fact that we probably need to be bolder, dare more in asking for a role for local government that can help the possibility to raise money through local taxation, that can help having local government being able to ask companies, corporates who are producing.
A few more seconds, Rosa.
Or producing on their territories and making profit out of there to pay their fair share to the community. This is a global issue, but this has also to become a local issue. And I also think that we have been shaped in this idea that you can make money with money, and more frequently with virtual money, with transfer speculations. Well, it's time to go back to real work, to real wealth, which is the wealth of labor, and public service can help to support that development. That will crucial also to continue to work for sustainable development, and hope not to be forget that part of the work that we have been doing in the past years in the post-COVID recovery. Thank you very much.